Hi everyone, and welcome to my live creative time today. My name's Mandy Witherby from Mandy's Papercraft Creations, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Sydney, Australia. It's great to be back for another week of creativity, and it's a little bit cold today. I've got my polar fleece jacket on. It's just the weather is cooling down. We're about to go into winter here in Australia in just a couple of days. On the 1st of June, it will be the first day of winter, but we're already starting to feel it. Although it's a beautiful sunny day outside today, but I've just got the chills today, just chilly. All right, so while everyone is jumping on, I will bring this up on my other devices so that I can see comments there. So let's just get that all happening. Okay, so my iPad is going and we'll get my computer running as well so that I can see comments in both places, because often one of them will freeze. So it's good to have them both running at the same time. Kathleen's here. Hi Kathleen, how are you? Great to see you. How was your weekend? Let me know in the comments. All right, so everything is working. So as we are creating today, feel free to chat with me. Let me know where you are watching from if it's your first time watching. And for those of you who are my regulars, chat along with me. Say hi when you come along, when you jump on. Yeah, we will have a lovely crafting time together. Now, feel free to craft along with me, or you can just sit back and relax and enjoy what I am sharing with you today. So, Kathleen had a 12-year-old, her 12-year-old daughter's birthday. So you had 5 girls for a sleepover to celebrate. Oh, lovely. Oh, I remember the good old sleepover days when my girls were younger, and my son as well. They were lots of fun, all those sleepover parties. So that's really cool. Hi Rose, how are you? Great to have you here. It must be getting pretty chilly down south there in Tassie, because it's getting pretty chilly up here. So I would imagine it would be even more cold down there where you are. Although it's a little bit breezy here today, but I did step outside expecting it to be really freezing cold, and it was actually not a cold breeze. It was quite nice in the sun. And I've got the heating on in the house, but I'm still feeling cold. So yeah, I don't cope well with the cold weather. I don't like the cold weather very much. So talking about seasons, we are looking at some products today that are seasonal products, which are great for all different seasons. We're going to be creating some seasonal cards this week. So I thought it was a great time because we're crossing over from autumn. We're still in autumn. We've got a couple more days left of autumn. And then we're going to be crossing over into winter on the 1st of June, which will be Thursday, which will be the next day I'll be going live. So today we're going to do an autumn card, and then on Thursday we're going to do a winter card, and yeah, it'll be lots of fun, and using the same products as well. So I'll show you the products in a little bit. Now let me just see. Oh, Rose said they've had some snow on the mountain down there in Tassie. Oh, it's getting chilly now. It's beautiful to see the snow though, isn't it? Yeah, but I don't know that I could live where it's snowing. I don't think I'd cope too well. Oh, hey Anne, how are you? Great to have you with us. Thank you for joining. And Dimity's here as well. Hey Dimity. Oh, it's cold there as well. You stayed in bed today. That sounds like a really great idea. You know what? It was really hard to get up this morning. I just found it so cold, and we hadn't had the air conditioning on, or the heating in the house on early this morning. So the house was chilly, and it was hard. It was really hard to get up today. In fact, I did get up earlier this morning, went to the loo, and then I went back to bed, and then I eventually fell back to sleep. So yes, had a bit of a late start to the day today. Alrighty, well, let me tell you, so we've got, today is the, wait, let me have a look on my computer. It'll tell me here somewhere. There it is, the 29th of May, 2023. So what do we got? 31 days this month? Yes. So we're the third last day of autumn here in Australia. And we've got something exciting happening on the 1st of June. So Stampin' Up is going to be holding a designer series paper sale, or as we call it, DSP sale. So this is really awesome. There's going to be lots of designer series paper on special, and you'll see that the selected packs are going to be 15% off. Now I've got a flyer, and I'll put the link up in the description of this video, but I'll put it in the comments for you as well in a moment. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 different packs that are going to be on special. So you might see some of your favorites there. And there's some more over the back there. So it's a great time to stock up. So I did have a paper share this month in May, and I did have a few people take the opportunity of that. Now in that paper share, they received quarter packs of paper. I had 2 shares running actually. I had a DSP share running, and I also had an in color products share as well. I'm a little bit croaky this morning. I think it's just because I'm sleepy. I'm fine. I'm not unwell. Anyway, those of you who may have got the DSP share, if you found papers in that DSP share that you love, with the paper sale coming up in August, because you only got a quarter pack of those papers, if you love those papers, then it's a great opportunity to get a full pack of the ones that you loved with the special on in June. So I thought that I would mention that. So remember, 15% off for those selected packs, and I know that some of these were in the paper share that I had. So it's a great time to get those full packs now. All right, so let me grab the link for you, and I'll put it in the comments, and then it will be in the description of this video as well, both here on Facebook and on YouTube when I upload that later this evening to there. Here's the link to the flyer, and then you can have a look at that flyer and see which ones are going to be on special. There we go. So that's in the comments for you. Yeah, because it's not every single pack that's going to be on special, but it's the majority of them. It's quite a lot of them. I think the ones that aren't on special are mainly the color collection DSP. I think those ones aren't on special, but I think pretty much everything else is. Even the gingham. The gingham is on special too. Will be from the 1st. So that special is going to go from the 1st of June right up until the 30th of June. So it's running for the whole month. Now, I don't know if some of them are going to go out of stock during that time. I don't know what the stock levels are like. So you might want to keep that in mind as well if you are wanting to get any of those, that if they do become out of stock, they will go unorderable until they come back in. And we kind of don't know, we never know the length of time these days with the global shipping crisis that continues. We never know how long things are going to stay unorderable, or, you know, when the next shipment's going to come in and things like that. So just keep that in your mind, that if there were papers that you really, really wanted, maybe get them earlier in the month rather than waiting towards the end of the month, because we just don't know. So, hey Athena, how are you? Great to have you with us today. All right, so how was everyone's weekend? Kathleen shared that she had her 12-year-old daughter's birthday party, which was lots of fun. So let me know what else you did on the weekend. If you haven't shared yet, I would love to hear about your weekend. So Amber and I went shopping on Saturday afternoon, and we had to get a few things for our little puppy Callie. Well, she's not such a puppy now. She is 2. Recently, if you've been following Callie's story recently, she's got a lot of issues, our poor little doggy. She's only 2, and we've had challenges with her from the day we got her, with allergies, ear infections, her temperament. She's got severe anxiety, so she's on medication for that. She's got, it's like IBS, but it's called irritable gut. So she's got a very, very sensitive tummy. So it doesn't take much to upset her tummy. It either comes up or goes quickly out the other end. So we've got to watch what we feed her and all sorts of things. Medications, certain medications upset her tummy as well. Anyway, she recently was diagnosed with a very major hip dysplasia. So her hip is coming out of the socket all of the time. Every time she moves, the hip is coming out by about 1 centimeter. It should only be by about 3 millimeters at the most, 3 to 4 millimeters. Hers is coming out by 10 millimeters. So it's like 3 times, yeah, more lax than what it should be. So she's in a lot of pain all the time, which is why often she's a little bit snappy too, because she's in pain. So anyway, oh, Dimity went to the Fred Pass show. Oh, that sounds cool. I don't know who Fred Pass is, but any show, I love any live show. So I'm sure that it was lots of fun. So that's awesome. Yeah, so anyway, so because Callie's now got this problem with her hip, we've been talking with the physio and the vet and also her trainer. And yeah, she's under all these specialists. Oh, she fits in very well with our family. Anyway, there's lots of things, lots of modifications around the home that we've had to make for her because of her hip. And she's not allowed to go up and down the stairs and things like that, which is fine because she's a bit anxious about that. So we prefer her not to anyway. Our stairs are timber, so they're a bit slippery and we don't want any accidents. So we just carry her up and down. Thankfully, she's a little dog. Yeah, and yeah, so we had to do a few modifications. So Amber and I went shopping. We had to buy some non-slip mats to put down for her because we have hard surface floors. We've had to put a rug back down in the family room, which we haven't had a rug since we got her because, you know, she would still have a few little accidents here and there, especially if she gets excited nowadays. So we just have to make sure we toilet her frequently and things like that, raised water bowls and food bowls. And we have to get her an orthopedic bed. So she's got one orthopedic mattress, which she inherited from our previous dog, who also had, well, actually our previous dog had knee problems, not hip problems. But yes, I need to find her a proper bed that's got, you know, 3 sides on it at least so that she can, with an open front so she can get in and out, but she can still be nice and warm, and the firm mattress for her hip, blah, blah, blah. Heat pads, you name it, she needs it. So, and medication options, we've been discussing that with the vet too. Certain ones she can't have because of her tummy, other ones she can't have because of her anxiety, and it would be too traumatic to have constant injections, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that's been our weekend. So pretty much just dealing with all of that. Yeah, so it's full on. But anyway, so we've got some of those things. We got a few things just to test, and they've worked out really well. So now we have to, when we get a chance, we have to go back to the shops to get additional ones. So additional mats and additional raised bowls. Because do you know how hard it is to get a raised food bowl for a little dog? They're very hard to find, and to get the right height. We got 2 different types. One of them was perfect. The other one was too high for her. Well, she's only little. So the one that was too high, we have to take that one back and get some more of the other brand, which of course is the more expensive ones, as it always turns out. So, you know, got to spread it out a little bit. Anyway, yeah, so that's kind of been our weekend. And then yesterday, I didn't really do much of anything. I just rested, took the day off, rested, didn't do too much, and just, yeah, dealt with a little bit more of that sort of stuff for Callie. But she's good. She's happy most of the time. Evenings are a bit rougher for her, and I think when the weather gets a bit cooler, it's making it a little bit more difficult for her. So we just have to try and keep her warm. So she has her sunny spots that she lays in the morning when the sun's coming through the back windows. And then in the evenings, we're using heat packs to keep her warm, especially that hip of hers. So, yeah, anyway, long story. But, yes, she has lots of challenges. Thankfully, she's in a loving home with family who understand and also have lots of health challenges. So, anyway, let's see. Let me just scroll back. Oh, Rose said she went out for lunch and to see the movie Book Club 2. Oh, lovely. Oh, it's Book Club 2. Okay. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Thank you, Rose, because I was telling Amber that The Notebook, the movie The Notebook, had a second one coming out. And Amber's like, oh, I hadn't heard of that. But I was wrong. It was the Book Club, not The Notebook. Okay, there you go. So Book Club 2. I've been hearing some great things about that movie, but I don't think I've seen the first one. So I have to try and hunt down the first one so I can watch the first one, so then I can watch the second one. So yeah, that's so lovely. And going out for lunch, very nice, very nice. Dimity says Fred Pass is an area 15 minutes out of town. Little country show. Very nice. Lots of things for children to do, and it was free. Fantastic. That sounds awesome. Okay, so Fred Pass is actually an area, a little town. There you go. And that is up in the Northern Territory for everybody who doesn't know where that is. Dimity is in the Northern Territory. So there you go. Rose said the first one is on Netflix. Awesome. Thank you, Rose. I will look it up. You know what? I'm going to write myself a note on my little sticky notes. This is my cute little sticky notebook that we made. Oh gosh, was it last year? Year before? Very cute. And I just keep changing my sticky notes. When one sticky notepad runs out, I add a new one. So I will write myself, I can't find a pen. Oh, here's a pen. Going to grab my Stampin' Write marker because it's right beside me, but I found an ordinary writing pen, so I'll use that. Okay, so Notebook. Is it The Notebook? Notebook. Anyway, I'll just look up Notebook on Netflix. Awesome. So I have to get a new Netflix account because I was using my son who lives at home. I would watch his Netflix because he lives in the same home, and you know, I know Netflix is changing their rules and things about that, but my son does live at home, so we were watching his. But he just cancelled his subscription without telling me, and I'm like, no, because that's really the main thing I use to watch anything is Netflix, and I've got my favorite shows on there and things like that. And he cancelled it without telling me. I'm like, what? Who does that? He totally forgot that I was using it because he doesn't use it. So yeah. So anyway, so now I have to subscribe myself. But I was making sure that yesterday I was actually looking at that, and I was looking to check all the things that I had watched, all the series that I had watched and where I was up to with those, so that when I get my new account, I can start from there, because it won't have all my memory anymore from the shows that I'd watched. So yeah, so I've got to deal with that in the next couple of days. So yeah. It's just Book Club. Okay, no the. Thank you. Thanks, Rose. It's just Book Club. See, I wrote down Notebook again. Why do I keep writing that? Book Club. You know why I wrote The Notebook? Because that's the one that I actually saw yesterday come up on Netflix when I was searching. But it's Book Club. Got it written down now. Get that straight in my head. Amber said, no. I think Rose means Book Club on Netflix. Oh, yes. I was saying the wrong one. Yes, that's my fault. Thank you, Amber. Yes, Book Club. Book Club, Book Club, Book Club. Got to remember, Book Club. How can I remember? I remember Book Club from when my kids had book club at school. There you go. That's how I'll remember it. Do you do that? Do you think of things that can help you to remember other things? Like link them with a common something, like a common memory or something that you know that will help you to remember? I don't know, maybe that's just how my brain works. Anyway, moving right along. Thank you, Rose. All right, so here is our beautiful annual catalogue. This is the one that Amber will remember. Yes, she will, Rose, because she remembers everything. She's got an amazing memory and a much younger brain than mine. So, all right, this is a beautiful new annual catalogue. This started on the 2nd of May, actually, so it's not quite a month old yet. If you would like a copy of this and you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Australia, let me know. I would love to get one out to you. If you are in another country and you don't have a demonstrator, let me know, because I have lots of contacts in the different markets where Stampin' Up is. So I can certainly put you on to a demonstrator over there as well in those other countries. So please let me know if you are from another country and you would like a catalogue as well. I can't send them overseas, but I can certainly put you in touch with somebody in your region. So yeah, but if you're here in Australia, I would love to look after you. So please let me know if you would like one of those catalogues, and I would love to look after you as one of my very special VIP customers as well. So yeah, so please feel free to shop with me. Actually, if you are looking for my online store, and this will be down on my desk, so you'll be able to see it. So if you don't catch it right now, don't worry, it'll be down on my desk as well. But you can go to mandyspapercraftcreations.blogspot.com and just click on the shop button at the top, and that'll take you straight through to my online store. You can also get to it from my website as well, which is mandywitherby.stampinup.net. So either of those. Over on my blog though, you will find lots of creative inspiration there. You'll also find a PDF version of the catalogue. You'll find also a subscription button there for my newsletter. So if you're not yet subscribed to my newsletter, be sure to subscribe to my newsletter. If you are a new subscriber, you will get, when you subscribe, you will get an exclusive PDF tutorial for 3 beautiful projects using product from the brand new catalogue. And that is only for my subscribers to my newsletter. That PDF tutorial you won't find anywhere else. So yeah, so definitely join up and subscribe to my newsletter, and that way too I'll be able to keep you up to date with all the latest Stampin' Up news, with my upcoming classes. I'll put creative inspiration in there each week, and I've started putting in some handy tips the last 2 weeks as well. So yeah, so I change it up and put different things in there. So if you don't want to miss out, then make sure you subscribe to my newsletter, and you can do that via my blog. I will also actually put that link in my description of the video, and I'll put it right now in the comments. Just went blank then for a moment. My brain is jumping ahead thinking of all the other things that I have to remember. So it's a bit like that. Anyway, all right, we have chatted long enough. How about we get to some crafting, and I will leave my catalogue out to show you what we are creating. I'll put the sale flyers away. Remember, we've got the DSP, in case you just jumped on, we've got the DSP sale happening from the 1st to the 30th of June, coming up really soon, and there'll be 15% off select paper packs. So be sure to check that out. There's 13 different paper packs that are going to be on special. Alrighty, so what I'll do is I will cover up the camera, and I'll get it down onto the desktop, and I cover it up so that I don't make you all dizzy, because there's a bit of transition that needs to happen. So bear with me, here we go. Okay, I'll just flip those cameras and we will adjust all of this for you. Oops, this one's a bit tight. Hang on a sec. I actually can't undo that one today. Oh dear. Hang on a minute. Nope, it's stuck. Oh. Here we go. Seem to be stronger in my left hand than in my right hand. Oh, that's why. I was doing it the wrong way. Okay. Right, here we go. All right, sorry, bear with me. It's just taking me a few extra moments today because one of my clamps was stuck, but I've unstuck it now. Let's make sure that's going to be tight enough to hold. All right, there we go. We'll adjust those lights. Oh, that was so tight today. I had it done up really tight for last Thursday, Hang on, I'm a little bit close. I think I'll just adjust that up a tad. For last Thursday, because when I film on YouTube, it's a bit different. And so I have to have my stand in a different position. And yeah, it just means I've got to do the clamps up a little bit tighter. All right, there we go. Oh my goodness, that's so crooked. Let's try and get that straightened up a little bit for you. How is that looking? Is that still crooked? It is wonky, isn't it? What if I just do that? Does that help? Ah, that's what it was. There we go. That's a bit better. Alrighty. Okay, so I'll move these down so that you can see. Now, if you are shopping with me, then please be sure to use my host code. This is my May 2023 host code. So be sure to use that in the online store when you're shopping with me. And when your order is over $75, you'll receive a thank you gift from me. And as well as that, with any orders in May, so there's just a couple of days left, with any orders of any amount, I'm actually also sending out a free card kit this month. Okay, so that is just an extra special thing. Actually, let me grab it and I'll show you. I had dumped a whole heap of other stuff on top of it. So this is the card. Oh, I've got the instructions in there too. You don't need those. Well, you will get those. You'll actually get a link sent to you with an instructional video to put this card together. But yeah, for any purchases during May, you will get a free card kit to create this card. The only thing you'll need additional is your adhesives and a stamp for the sentiment. So you can use whatever stamp fits in there on that little label. So there you go. So that's my free gift for all orders in May. Plus, if your order goes over $75, then you'll also receive my monthly tutorial bundle, which is valued at $28. So there you go. So there'll be two gifts this month. Plus, you get a handmade card from me as well. Hey, Brenton, how are you? Great to have you with us today. All right. So, brand new catalogue. Well, it started on the 2nd of May, so it's not quite a month old yet, so it's still brand new. What we're going to be playing with today is the Season of Chic Stamp Set, or as I like to say, Season of Chic, but it's actually Chic. Season of Chic. Now, this stamp set is awesome because you've got different images in there for the different seasons, of course, because it's called Season of Chic. They're sort of like a distressed look, which everybody knows I love distressing. So this one is a really beautiful set, and you've got gorgeous sentiments in here as well. So let's have a look. We've got like sea themes. So we've got this beautiful seashell. So that would be, you know, your summer. Then we've got the snowflakes, so that would be your winter. We've got the leaves here, that would be your autumn, or in America they call it fall. And then we've got spring, so we've got the beautiful flower here for the spring. Then we've got some lovely textures here as well. And this is actually a two-step stamp set. So you'll notice that each of these images has the outline detail as well as some solid shape that you can use to add color rather than using coloring medium. So you can either stamp the outside or like the lined image and then color with your own coloring mediums, or you can use the solid shape to add your color, which is what we're going to do today. And we're using the beautiful autumn leaf today. Okay, now this one has dies that coordinates with it, and we've got some lovely samples up here as well using this stamp set. So they are really, really pretty samples. So even if you're unsure of how to use this stamp set, you've got, well, I'm going to show you today another project, but you do have some beautiful samples up here as well that you can case, as we like to say, copy and selectively edit. Now, this stamp set, it does have coordinating dies, but they don't come together as a bundle. They did in a previous catalogue, but now that they've carried over into this catalogue, they are separate items. So it coordinates with the Chic Dies on page 163. So let's go over to 163 and we'll have a look where you can find those. Here we go. All right, Chic Dies, here they are at the top of the page up here. They do coordinate with the mini machine, the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which is what we're going to be using today. You've got dies that cut out those stamped images, as well as a whole heap of additional dies which cut out different shapes, and you've got these beautiful texture one as well, which we're going to be using today as well. Now, just to let you know that if you love these after seeing me use them today, if you don't already have them, the dies are currently on low inventory, which means there's not a huge supply of them right now. They are in the catalogue, so they will get some more in if they do run out of stock. But of course, you know, with the global shipping delay at the moment, or the global shipping crisis that is ongoing, we never know when those products, when the shipping of those products will come back in. We know that they'll come, we just don't know when. So if you love these, then, you know, get them sooner rather than later before they sell out, because then you might just have to wait a while. All right, so that's where you can find these products in the annual catalogue. Now, I didn't mention that when you get your annual catalogue, it doesn't come spiral bound. It just comes with a standard, you know, glue binding. I take mine to my local stationers and I have it spiral bound. Then I add all of my tabs, and this is on my wish list. So there's just a few, and my wish list always changes. So yeah, there'll probably be more added to it over time. All right, so here is the stamp set. Here's a closer look at the dies. And look at all, let's take it out of the packet actually. And you can see I've used this one before. But I just thought with the changing of the seasons, it's a great time to pull them back out again. Now look at all those beautiful dies that we get on there. You've got all these outline dies that cut beautiful images to embellish your project. You've got another shell there, and that's a shell. Then you've got the outline to cut the stamped image. You'll notice that the dies look larger than the stamps on the front of the stamp case, and that's because the images on here are only shown at 75%. It tells you down here on the front of the label, just so that they can fit all of the images there on the case. Okay, I love this texture too. We're going to use that today. So this is a photopolymer stamp set. I've pulled out the ones that we're going to be using today already and put them on my blocks, but you can see we've got the two sides that we can adhere them to there. So that's really great. And let's have a look at what else we're going to be using today. We're going to be using the in colors, the new 2023 to 2025 in colors. And we're going to be using the designer series paper. Now this designer series paper is not part of the sale next month. So just letting you know that. And as you can see, I've been using it. We've got the 5 beautiful colors. So we've got Moody Mauve, and we've got Pebbled Path, we've got Copper Clay, Wild Wheat, and Boho Blue. And you'll notice that you get 4 different designs in each of the colors. So each sheet is double-sided. Yeah, and you get a pack of 48 sheets in the paper pack. So these are a great way. Now this designer series paper with these patterns comes in all of the color collections. So we've got the in colors, then you've got the brights, subtles, regals, and what's the other one? Basics? No. Neutrals, that's it. With the same designs on them, okay, but in the different color collections. So these are great to have to coordinate with all of your inks and your Oh, hey, Sam, how you going? Great to see you. So these papers are great to coordinate with all of your inks and your markers and your embellishments, your ribbons, and your cardstock, of course. So, yeah. So we're going to be playing with some of those today. We're also going to be playing with the 2023 to 2025 in color jute trim. I think it's the first time I've had a play with this today on this project. Well, I mean, when I created this project, which this is the one we are creating today. And we're going to be doing a little bit of heat embossing as well. So here's our beautiful project, autumn inspired. So we've got beautiful autumn natural sort of colorings there, which I just think is really, really pretty. And I love this trim as well. We've got that beautiful texture. So that's this one here. We're using a little bit of vellum. So there we go. And we've got a little bit of the detail, the texture stamp in the background there as well. So there you go. All right, so let's get on to crafting. All right, so I've already got my stamps on my blocks ready to go, and I'll just show you which ones on the stamp set we're going to be using. So we're using the oak leaf flower and the solid shape as well, or I like to call it color fill. We're using this stamp here, you make each season of life even more beautiful. We're going to be doing a little bit of masking with this one because we don't want the word you. I just want make each season of life even more beautiful. So I'll show you how to do some masking, and then we're using the textured stamp here as well, the little splatter. Okay, so pretty easy. And then we're using some of those dies. Okay, so I'll pop the card up here out of the way and we'll bring in the ink. So we need today some Versamark, some white embossing powder. We need Pebbled Path, Wild Wheat, and Copper Clay. So they're the three in colors that we're using with the Versamark. Okay, so that's what you will need for this project. Alrighty, so I'll just pop these over to the side. We'll also need a heat tool today as well. We're using our Stampin' Up! Heat tool for our heat embossing. Hey Sam, is the flyer on the SU website? Yes, it is. It's under Happening Now promotions, current promotions. So you'll find it there. Okay, you can download it there and print it from there. All right, so I've got my kit here with all of my pieces. Now, all of the measurements will be on my blog, so don't be worried too much if you miss any measurements or you're unsure. They will all be, oh, you're welcome, Sam, no worries. They will all be on the website, on my blog. So we've got a piece of vellum here, which is 7.5 by 9.5 centimeters. We've got a piece of the trim, and you'll notice that the trim is, I will show you, but when we get to that. But it's the in color jute trim. But what I did is, yes, you surely can share this video. Thank you so much, Sam. That would be awesome. You can separate the fibers of this trim to make it, because it's quite thick, the jute trim. It's really quite thick. So if you want a finer trim, you can separate the fibers. You can separate them out. So it separates into 3 fibers initially. And then each of those fibers, if you want to strip it down further, they will strip down further into smaller fibers. So just depending on how thick you wanted it, but I'm just using a third of it today, a third thickness. All right, so we've got all these little pieces. We've got a little piece here for our sentiment. This is our Pebbled Path. Our Pebbled Path is, you know what, I'm going to go from the base. Oh, no worries, Sam. You'll watch the replay later. All right, all good. Thank you. All right, so we've got our Pebbled Path card base, and this one measures 21 centimeters by 14.85, scored and folded at 10.5, and we're going to have a landscape card today. Then we've got a layer of Very Vanilla. Now, I don't use Very Vanilla as much, although I did use it was it last week or the week before? The week before, I think it was. I used it as well. But it's a really beautiful card. A really beautiful color, especially for using with those natural tones or those neutral tones. So yeah, so we've got a card front piece of Very Vanilla, 14.45 by 10.1 centimeters. Now, just to let you know, I work in metric measurements. So our card bases here in Australia are half of an A4 sheet. Okay, so our cardstock is A4, and this is half of an A4 sheet. Now, in America and I think maybe Canada too, they use letter size cardstock, and it's a different size to ours. So card bases, for those of you who may be in America, will be shorter but wider. Okay, so all of my layers, so these layers, for instance, my base layer is going to be a different size to yours because you have a different card base size. Okay, so just cut the card base size to whatever would be your standard card base size. I think you do like 1/4 of an inch smaller or something, or maybe 1/8 of an inch smaller than your card base. So you would just have a standard standard base card front piece layer, that's the word. Oh my goodness. Yes, so I don't have all the measurements for the imperial measurements because that is why, because yeah, they're different for the different size card bases. All right, so then we've got some of the designer series paper. We've got a piece of copper clay, which is 1.5 by 9.5. We've got a piece of Pebbled Path, which is 2.5 by 9.5. And then I've got a piece of the Wild Wheat. I've gone backwards the wrong way. Copper clay is 3.5 by 9.5. Pebbled Path is correct, 2.5 by 9.5. And the Wild Wheat is the 1.5 by 9.5. Okay, now again, the length of those is going to be different for imperial measurements, okay, because you'll have to size them down. You can do the same width, but to size them down, you'd have to make them smaller height-wise to fit on your layer. Okay, then these pieces are Wild Wheat, which is 10.5 by 7.2. We've got some vanilla, which is 6.8 by 10.1. We've got copper clay, which is 6.5 by 3. We've got this one, which we're going to do our stamping on. This is Very Vanilla, and it's 7 by 7 centimeters. And then our sentiment label, which is Pebbled Path in 9 centimeters by 2 centimeters, and the vellum, which I already mentioned before, which was 9.5 by 7.5. Okay, so there are all your layers. It looks like a lot, but when you put them together, it's actually quite simple. It's quite it's a lovely card. There are lots of layers, but it's a simple design, so it's not difficult to put it together. All right, I'm going to put my trim to the side because we won't use that till the end. And we'll do our stamping first. So we're going to start with stamping on this piece, and this piece. And all these other pieces are going to go to the side, and we will use them in a little bit. Okay. Now, I didn't bring in, I'll just grab it, my Stampin' Pierce mat. Because we are working with photopolymer stamps, it's always a good idea to use your Stampin' Pierce mat. You'll get a much nicer finish. Sorry for the noise, I was just pulling out my grid paper there. You'll get a much nicer stamped image. So I'm going to protect my Stampin' Pierce mat with a little bit of grid paper. This is the old small grid paper. It's not available anymore, but we do have large grid paper that you can cut down. Okay. So we'll start with our ordinary stamping first, and then we'll do our stamping and embossing after that. Okay. All right, so let me just double check if there was any other questions. No, we're all good. Feel free to ask any questions that you might have. I've got Amber on the other end as well here on the live, watching for comments as well. So if I happen to miss anything, then Amber will pick up on those. All right, so we might start with our background. And we're going to be using some Pebbled Path. Actually, let me move my cardstock to the other side because I like to have my ink pad on the right side because I'm right-handed. We're going to start with our background stamp, okay? And we're going to be doing some stamping off. So we're doing some second generation stamping just so it's a little bit lighter. So we're going to ink up our stamp it off very quickly on our scrap paper, and just stamp on our cardstock. And we're going to just stamp a few of these randomly around. And keep moving the position of our stamp, so keep rotating that so that we get a different design going across the card. Okay, and I might just do one more just down here. So we've kind of got the design going down kind of at a diagonal, not quite, but kind of at a bit of a diagonal. Okay, so we'll just ink that one off and we'll give that a clean on our chamois. Look, I have got a nice clean, well, almost clean side of my chamois. The other side looks like that. It is clean though. I gave this one a wash this morning, so it's nice and clean. There we go. All right, so we'll set that one aside, and now we'll close that ink up, and I'm going to bring in my copper clay and my wild wheat and my little square piece of Very Vanilla. So we are going to do some two-step stamping now. So I'm going to do the copper clay first, and we're going to, so we've got the outline stamp or the detail, and we've got the solid shape as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, now you can do it either way. You can do the detail first and then you can do the solid, or you can do the solid shape first and then do the detail, whichever way works best for you. I'm going to do the solid shape first. Now we're going to ink this up, and again we're going to stamp off, and we're going to stamp, oh, I don't know that that stamped off very well. Let me do that again. That's better, even pressure. And we're going to stamp that over here on this side. Okay, so that's nice and light. Then we're going to come in with our detail, and this time that's going to be full strength. Okay, so what we call first generation. And because they're photopolymer stamps, you're just going to look through the stamp. I'm going to try and line up the stem and look through the stamp and line that up over the detail. Okay, there we go. I was off a little bit just there, but that's okay. The nature of the stamp, you can get away with it if it's a little bit off. All right, and that part's going to be covered anyway. All right, so we'll give those a clean because we want to use them now on our wild wheat, and we don't want to cross-contaminate our colours. Let's make sure that's good and clean. There we go. Has anybody got this stamp set and die set? Have you played with this one before? Let me know in the comments if you have. All right, so now we're going to use our wild wheat, and we might turn that up the other way. Let's make sure that's nice and dry. Okay, I'm going to turn my paper around so that when I'm stamping off, I'm not stamping off over that wet ink. Oh, sorry, the copper clay ink, in case it is still wet. I don't want to pick up any of that copper clay in the wild wheat image. There we go. I love the wild wheat colour. It's a beautiful gold tone. Okay, then we'll do the full strength outline detail. Sorry, my sleeves are getting in the way today. I don't normally wear a jacket when I'm crafting live because I do tend to get a bit warm, but today it was just so cold. Now I'm lining that up. Where's my stem? Trying to see my stem. That way a bit, I think. Yeah, it was just so cold today that I left my jacket on, but my sleeves are getting in the way a little bit. Oh, there we go. That lined up really well. Aren't they so pretty? Aren't those colors just beautiful? They really do look like autumn leaf colors. All right, we'll give these stamps a little clean. Oops, got a little bit of ink still on that one. There we go. And we'll do the other one. It's always a good idea to clean your stamps straight away. Just doing that off camera there. Okay, good. All right, so there's our leaves ready to die cut, and now we will do our sentiment. So let's turn this over. And important to use your embossing buddy when you are going to be using embossing powder on a dark color, because you get the little granules everywhere of embossing powder, and it'll be really noticeable on the dark colors. So this is an anti-static pillow. It comes, so you just rub it on your cardstock, and basically that'll stop any static building up on your cardstock. When you go to stamp your image, your embossing powder is only going to stick to where you have put your stamped image. Now we're going to do a little bit of masking off with this one because we don't want the word you. So let me grab washi tape. I forgot to grab that out. This is some old Stampin' Up washi tape. I'm just going to mask off that word you because we don't want that. There we go. All right, so we'll ink up the rest of our sentiment. Stamp that towards the left-hand end of our sentiment label, and I'll show you why in a moment. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't take my washi tape off, did I? Yeah, I got a little bit of ink there. Okay, that's all right. I'll flip it over. We'll do it on the other side. So because I'm flipping it over, I'm just going to go along the edges with my... See, again, my brain is jumping ahead of me, I'm thinking about the next step. So I just burnished the edges of that with my bone folder because that's actually the back side. So where I've cut the cardstock, it pushes the edges over just a little bit, and it can be quite noticeable if you don't burnish those edges down, which just flattens them out. All right, let's try that again. Embossing buddy, let's ink up our stamp. Now, this time we've got to remove our mask. There we go. And now we'll stamp our sentiment towards the left-hand end. There we go. That's better. Good, good. All right. Now, the embossing buddy comes with the embossing tray and the tweezers. Now, where are the tweezers? I've got to find them. Here they are. Oh, they're stuck in my... There we go. So we've got the tweezers, the brush, and the tray. Now, I'll just check which colour. Yes, I used white in the tray last time, so that's okay. If you're changing between metallics and, for instance, the white or the clear, you have to make sure that you clean your tray out completely so that you don't get those dark colours mixing in with your lighter colour embossing powders when you return them back to their containers. So this is the white. Okay, so we'll just tap off the excess. There we go. And if you do happen to have any extra little granules, you can just use your brush just to brush them away. But because we use the embossing buddy, we only had 2 little bits. I must have missed putting the embossing buddy just in those 2 little spots. All right, so I'll pop that there. And then you just unscrew the end of this. When you do clean your tray, make sure you clean out the end as well as the thread of where that screws on as well, because the embossing powder does catch in there as well. So when you're changing between colours, and you can use your brush to brush your tray out. And you can either take this tray to the sink and rinse it out. Make sure that you dry it completely though before using it with your embossing powders. Or last time I just got out my baby wipes and I just gave it a really good clean with the baby wipes. And that got it nice and clean. All right, there we go. Now I am starting to get hot, so now my jacket is going to come off. So just bear with me one moment while I get that off. I knew at some point I would heat up. Whew, there we go. Okay, so heat tool, we're going to use it on setting number 2, which is the setting we use for heat embossing. Just warm it up for a moment first. Just let that warm up. And once that's warmed up for a few moments, just bring that in, and we're going to heat that embossing powder until it starts to melt. And as it starts to melt, you're going to move your heat tool across and you'll see it becomes bright white and glossy. And as soon as it turns like that, you're going to move your heat tool, because if you keep... Oh! For some reason, my computer just turned on. I might have bumped something. The sound on my computer just turned on, so I just turned that back off. Yeah, if you were to hold your heat tool in the one place too long, what will happen is that embossing powder will become very flat, and you'll lose that glossiness and that raised embossed image. Okay, so yeah, just make sure that you move your heat tool. All right, now it will be hot, and the end of your tweezers will be hot as well because they are ceramic. So just be very careful handling those and just allow them to cool down before you touch them so that you don't burn your fingers. All right, so we'll put the ink and the embossing powder over to the side. Now with our label here, we're going to trim this. Let me grab my snips. Okay, so we are just going to trim this. I'm going to turn it over upside down, and let me make sure I'm trimming it in the right direction. Yeah, so we're going to trim this way. Just add a little bit of an angle like that. Okay, so now we've got a nice angle. All right, so we'll pop that one over to the side. That one is ready to go. Alrighty, so that is all our stamping. Now we're going to do a little bit of die cutting. We need to die cut this one, our vellum. We're going to die cut this one, and yeah, that's it. I was thinking, what else? What else needs die cutting? That's it. I'll just give this stamp a clean actually, because I didn't clean the ink off this one. And the Versamark is a stickier ink. That's why the embossing powder sticks really well to it, because it's a pigment-based ink. And so it's quite sticky. So you've got to give it a really good scrub when you're cleaning the Versamark off your stamps. If you want to, you can use the Stampin' scrub with the Stampin' mist spray, and that gives it a really, really good deep clean. When my stamps get too mucky, or if I've used them a lot, then I give them a good clean with the Stampin' Mist. All right, so I'm using my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I love this one. It's great size for using on my desk. Doesn't take up too much space. Comes with all the plates that you need. So I'm going to use my number 1 base plate and my number 2 clear plate, And then I've got another number 2 clear plate for over the top. So I'll just put these 2 down on the base. We've got to cut one of these, 1 leaf at a time. So I'm just going to separate them. And we'll grab out our dies. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to use the outline die, this one here, for our leaf. And then we're going to use the detailed leaf die here as well. And we're going to cut one of those in copper clay. And we can put those both on together. I'll grab some washi tape. Where'd that washi tape go that I just had? There it is. We'll use a little piece of this just to hold these dies in place so that they don't move. I like to dab my washi tape just on my shirt, or on you can do it on your jeans if you've got denim jeans on, just to remove a little bit of the stickiness before adhering my dies down, so that they don't stick too tight to that cardstock, because they have a tendency to tear because the washi tape depends on the washi tape. Some washi tapes are stronger than others, so they'll be more sort of sticky, and others are not so bad. So it just depends on your washi tape. This one I don't need to line up because I don't need to line up with stamped image, so it's much easier. All right, so then we'll put our number 2 base plate over, a number 2 clear plate over the top. And we'll take those through our die cutting machine. Now there will be a little bit of cracking and noises like that. That's okay, that's quite normal. So don't freak out if you hear that in your when you're die cutting. Okay, so just pop my 2 dies there. So there's my beautiful oak leaf. There's my first oak leaf. Actually, let me put that over with my card pieces, and that's the outline. Isn't that beautiful? It's just the little outline of the leaf, like the detail of the leaf, which is really pretty. And what you can actually do is you can use that with another color. So say you had another color, you can actually lay them over the top. Oh, I've got that one upside down, so it's probably not going to match up exactly. If I had it up the right way, let's see. Oh no, they still don't actually match up exactly. I thought they matched up exactly, but they don't quite match up exactly. But you could still layer them together as well, and that would be really beautiful. But we're going to use them as separate images today. Alrighty. Okay, so just get rid of these little bits of cardstock. And who's got their cuppers today? I've actually got I've got English breakfast tea today in my Stampin' Up tumbler. I might actually have a little sip of that. It's getting to that weather now where in the afternoons I've constantly got warm drinks on my desk. Been having hot lemon with honey, been having hot chocolates, different flavored teas, lots of different hot drinks to keep me nice and warm in this colder weather. What about you? Have you all got warm drinks? Do you like to have your hot drinks at your craft desk? I like to have them in either a mug that's not going to tip. So I've got some flat bottom mugs. Actually, I'm going to take this leaf through just on its own, and the vellum I'm going to cut separately on its own. Yeah, flat bottom mugs, or the tumblers with the lids on my craft desk, especially if I'm actually crafting at the time, because I don't want to risk spilling it, and I have done that before. There's our other little oak leaf. Yes, I have had spillages before, and it's never pretty. What's everybody else drinking today? Have you got a nice warm drink where you are? Or perhaps you're watching from overseas where the climate is a lot warmer than what we are experiencing right here. Hi Lisa, how are you? Great to have you with us. I just saw that you jumped on. I think my comments on my computer have frozen. Oh no, there they are. There we go. Okay, good. They had gone a bit haywire for a minute, but they're back. Okay, so we'll put these dies back on our die sheet so that we don't lose it. This one I haven't actually put on my magnet sheets. You know how sometimes I like to put, well, most of the times I like to put my dies onto magnet sheets, but I actually haven't done it with these ones, but I think I might need to because there's lots of dies on this one. Lisa likes New York breakfast from T2. Oh, yum. I love all the T2 teas. They're beautiful, aren't they? All right, so for this piece, we are just using our vellum with the textured piece there. So just going to simply pop that on, and I will use a bit of washi just to hold it. I'm just thinking what I've got at the moment. I've got, oh, I like all the different breakfast teas from T2. Just trying to think which ones I've got in the cupboard at the moment. I've got English breakfast today, but it's not one of the T2 ones. I also love Earl Grey. Have you had the, what's the one I've got? It's in the purple tin. It's not plain Earl Grey. It's French Earl Grey. That's beautiful too if you like a fragrant tea. All right, so let's pop this away. So that's all about die cutting. Now, I'm going to show you how to remove all the little pieces from this die cut piece. Did that actually cut all the way through? Maybe I should have run that through twice. Oh, that didn't cut all the way through. Did it or didn't it? No, it didn't. Oh, I should have run that through twice. All right, I'll have to cut another piece. I think it didn't cut all the little bits out. No, because it's a detailed die, I should have run it through. It cut the outside, just didn't cut all of the little inside pieces. We want all the little inside pieces out as well, so I'll have to do another one of those. Yeah, that didn't cut properly. That's all right. Did it or not? No, some of it up here hasn't cut. Okay, I'll grab another piece of vellum. I'll do that one again. That one just didn't cut properly. That's annoying. It's a little bit thicker, the vellum. Hang on 2 secs. All right. I just need to cut another piece of vellum. I can't remember the size now. Oh, I do have the size written down here. All right, let's cut another piece of vellum. And then we'll have to die cut that one again. That's okay. You'll all forgive me, won't you? So it's 7.5 by 9.5. 7.5 by 9.5. There we go. All right, and we'll try that again. Line that on. This time we'll run it through twice, just to be sure. Oh, you love French Earl Grey as well, Rose? Oh, it's so beautiful, isn't it? I think it's got bergamot in it, which I love the fragrance of bergamot, and I actually love, I have essential oil in bergamot, a bergamot essential oil, and I love putting a few drops of it on the floor of my shower in the morning before I have a shower, and then when you turn the water on, you just get the beautiful fragrance going through. Yeah, it's really, really lovely. All right, so this time we're going to roll this through twice because it is a detailed die. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to cut. And also too, because the vellum, the nature of the vellum being sort of like that plasticky type finish to it. I'll just turn it upside down and we'll check. Yes, that's better. That's cut right through now. Yeah, it can be a little bit harder to cut through. So yeah, so if you're cutting with vellum, something that's detailed, just run that through twice. Oh, I've got all the little pieces on there. That's okay. I'll clean those off later. All right, there we go. Now, to get all those little pieces out, we are going to use our die brush attachment. And our die brush attachment comes like this, and you get 2 of these foam mats, okay? The foam mats, I just put mine in an old plastic container, an old Tupperware container, and they attach to your take your pick tool. So I keep an old spare handle just for my die brush, and my other take your pick tool, I have my putty end. So it goes on the end where the putty is. Okay, so that just screws out and the die brush just screws in there. Okay, so while I've still got my die there, I'm going to, now it is a little bit noisy, so if you want to turn down the volume, then feel free to. So I give it a brush while I've got the die in there, which also helps to release any pieces that are stuck in the die. And then take the die off. And then give it another brush over to get all those little pieces out. Whoops, we've got them going everywhere. All right, so that piece is coming out of the surrounding outside bit. And then we'll just give these. And if there's any stubborn bits, then we've got our piercing tool on the other end. So we do have a couple of little stubborn bits here. So I'll just take my pokey tool and I'll just poke those through. Now, if all of these don't poke out, we can kind of position this so that those ones are hidden. But this one's being a little bit stubborn today. Let's pull that out from the back. There we go. Talking about tea, I also love chai. Chai tea is my favorite, or chai latte is my favorite. And I love it best made on milk. Okay, we might put it up that way so we hide that bit. That bit's just being a bit stubborn. It's really stuck. Just that one little bit there. Oh, and this bit down here too. Yeah, so I love a good chai latte. So if ever I go out anywhere for coffee, I don't actually drink coffee, so that's what I normally order is a chai latte. Oh, there we go. We've got that one out. This one up here just does not want to come out. What's happening? It didn't cut properly just there. So that's right. I'll put that in so that we hide that bit. So there we go. So we've got all our little bits there. Let's pop that back in there. Oh, a brewed chai with honey. Yes. Yum, Rose. Yum. I'm with you. So whenever I come to Tassie in the future, hopefully one day, we'll go and get a chai together. That would be lovely. All right, so now we've got all of our pieces and we can start putting this all together. So let's, you know what, we might put all of the pieces, put some of these layers on here first before we put them on the front of the card, I think. For sure, yes, that would be lovely. Alrighty, so these 3 layers are going to go down like that. They're going to be set over to the left side. So just lay them out like that so I remember which order I'm putting them down in. I'll use a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue. Tassie is on my bucket list. I would love to get to Tasmania one day. My mum went to Tasmania with, I can't remember if she went with her sister or her sister-in-law, and she loved it. She said it was so beautiful. And of course, we've got our relatives down there too, who I have not seen for years. So I would love to go. And I've got friends down there too now. So I hope to get down there at some stage. I think any travel we do now will probably be within Australia. I don't know that we'll go overseas again. I don't know. Maybe one day. We'll see. All right, so we're just going to leave a little border in between each of these strips so that we can see some of that vanilla cardstock. and trying to sort of leave a similar size border between each of the pieces that I have at the top and the bottom. I've maybe got a little bit finer detail there, a little bit sort of finer gap, I should say, not detail, finer gap there, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be exact. There we go. Line it up at the bottom. There we go. All right. Now, oh, there we go. I thought I'm missing a piece. There it is. I was missing a piece. Okay, so now I'm going to attach this onto my card base. Now to do that, I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal, and you might be wondering why I'm changing to Stampin' Seal. I just find with the vanilla, with the plain vanilla, sorry, the normal vanilla and the normal basic white, sometimes when you use the fine tip glue, not the fine tip glue, the fine tip of the multi-purpose glue, if you lay it down really thick, sometimes you can kind of see the ridges of it through the cardstock. If you're using pattern paper or something like that, you don't see it, but sometimes through the light colored cardstocks you see it. We do have on the other end the thick end spreader, so you can use that end and spread it much more smoothly. But often for my layers, I find the Stampin' Seal is just much quicker and easier. So that's why if I'm adhering a large piece, I'll often just grab my seal. All right. So I didn't burnish that card base, did I? Because I can see it keeps trying to pop up. So I'll just burnish that fold edge to help that to sit down a little bit better. All right, and we're going to pop that down onto our Pebbled Path cards base. Aren't these just beautiful colors to work with? I love these in colors. I know not everybody likes earthy tones, but I really do. I really love earthy tones. I love brights too, but I just love earthy tones. And I think this time of year for us with autumn and going into winter, I think it's a great time to use those earthy colors. All right, so these two pieces are going to get layered together now. So I'll use my seal. Oh, I'm at the end. I'm at the end. Okay. I will then grab my Seal Plus. Now, Seal Plus works in the same way. It's actually usually easier to roll the Seal Plus on, but it's a lot stronger. So it's great if you're doing 3D projects and things like that. It is a lot stickier. Okay, so you're going to pop that down onto the wild wheat layer. Line that up. Whoops, haven't got that lined up very well. Now, the only thing is with the Seal Plus, you have to make sure that you get your piece lined up properly because it's very, very sticky and it's very hard to remove it. All right. Now, for this piece, we're going to pop this up on some dimensionals. And we're going to put this piece down first. So what I'll do is I'll pop my dimensionals onto the back of this one, actually. Whoops. So Stampin' Dimensionals, if you're not familiar with them, they are double-sided adhesive foam. They're pre-cut into hexagonal shapes, which are great sizes to use for your layers. One in the middle, and we do have them in small as well. They've also come in a full sheet. If you like to cut yours to your own size, you can do that, but these you can cut down as well into smaller pieces if you need them. All right, so I've got that piece ready. This one is going to be adhered onto there. I've just got to work out where that's going to sit. It's being a little bit curly. That's going to sit down there, something like that. And then that will go over the top. I'm just making sure I've got that lined up so that we can see it poking out. I want it poking out. Okay. Now, to adhere that, I'm going to adhere that underneath where, so I'm sort of going to adhere this side of it, okay, this end of it, where it's going to be covered by this layer here. Because it's vellum, it's, you know, as we know, vellum is opaque, and I want just the adhesive to be where it's going to be covered up. All right, so what I might actually do is I might actually just use some of my Seal Plus, because I've got that out. Except that can happen sometimes too. It can catch on your DSP. So, okay, it's going to be too sticky. Right, let's just use glue. It's grabbing that DSP. It is, as I said to you, it's a very strong adhesive. So when you're playing with it, you have to make sure that, yeah, you have to be careful where you're putting it. All right, so we'll just adhere that down like so. Whoops. Make sure I've got that well adhered down. I want that down a little bit more. Let's see, just working out how far in I'm putting this, about there. So if I put my finger there, I've got to make sure that I've got the glue down to there. Okay, so I'll put a bit more glue under here to just hold that part down there. There we go. I'm getting a little bit sticky now because the glue is coming through that that layer there. So I'm just going to grab a baby wipe to wipe my fingers. Always good to have them handy. And it doesn't matter that that paper tore there, because nobody's going to see that. And nobody will know except you and I. Alrighty. Okay, so we'll remove the paper backings from our Stampin' Dimensionals now to reveal the adhesive. And we're going to pop this down here. So we'll just bring that in. Bring that in a little bit from the edge. Make sure we've got an even border at the top and the bottom. And make sure we're getting it nice and straight. There we go. Now those dimensionals that we've got there, they will also help to hold that vellum down as well. Okay, there we go. Now it is going to curl up a little bit at the edge there. I'm not sure if you can really tell on camera. It does curl up a little bit there, but that's great. Like, I like that because it gives a little bit more interest to the card. Okay. All right. Now we're going to put some Stampin' Dimensionals onto the back of our sentiment label as well, because then we're going to pop our leaves in behind our sentiment label. Now, because we're going to be, I'm just going to think, because we're popping the sentiment labels in behind there, what I'm going to do is I might use some mini Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm just going to put them along the bottom edge here to give us space to pop our leaves in behind there. So let's see. Yep, that will be good. Okay, so I've just got one on either end, and then just a couple of the small ones at the bottom there. Then we're going to tuck our little leaves in behind. We want to be able to slip them in. We can trim them down a little bit if we need to, but yeah. So we're going to line up the edge of our sentiment label with the edge of our vanilla piece here. Okay, and there, like that. Okay, and then these three. Now, the one that's going in the middle, which is the wild wheat color or the goldy color. That one's going to be on dimensionals, so we'll put those on now. I'll just probably need two dimensionals on the back of that one. I've still got some sticky on that finger. It's catching on things. Just wipe it again with my wipe. Okay, so that one's going to sit in there. Now I haven't removed the backings from that one yet because I want to make sure that I'm putting everything in where I'm just going to position them first where I want to have them. Oh, you know what? I think I used a different leaf this time. Let's have a look. I did too. There's two different oak leaves. So there's this, well, two different leaves. I don't know if they're both oak leaves. There's this one and this one. And this is the one that I pulled out. On my first one, I had this one. So will it matter? Let's see. I think we can still get away with using that one. That's all right. Our two cards will be different. So you can use either one. Either one of those dies. All right, so that's how we want to have them positioned. So I'm going to put some glue onto this one. Not going to put the glue right up to the tip, not up to the top tip, because we can add a bit of dimension in with that and just lift that up a little bit. I could have curled that with my bone folder if I had have wanted to, but I just thought I'd just give it a little tweak with my fingers. Okay, we'll do this one now as well. Put a bit of glue just on those bits. Again, I won't put it all the way to the top. Slip that down in there. There we go, just press that down and just tweak that little top bit up again to curl that up a little bit. And then now we can remove the backings of our dimensionals, our mounting foam, and we can slip that one in. And I'm going to put that at a bit of an angle as well. There we go. Beautiful. All right. Now we want our bow and our adhesive, which I forgot to mention before. Oh, let me find it now. Here we go. We're going to use some of the rustic metallic adhesive backed dots. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Rustic metallic adhesive backed dots. Oh, Glenda's here. Hi, Glenda. I didn't see you jump on. You must have snuck in the back door, did you? Glenda says, beautiful card. Love those colours together. They are great together, aren't they, those colours? Thank you so much for your lovely comment. But yeah, the colours, they're just, I think, you know, they're just so easy to work with, those colours. They make any card beautiful. All right, so we'll put one there. We're going to put one over here, and we're going to use one of these little ones, and we'll put a little one over here. There we go. So we've got our three embellishments there. And now our bow. Now, as I was saying to you before, this is the in color jute trim. It's quite a thick twine, and it comes in the 5 in colors in the pack. I'm using the copper clay today, and I've separated it into 3 pieces, separated the fibers. So I used the first one on the first card, and then I've got the other 2 as spare. But all you do is you just take the end of the trim and you basically just untwist the twine. And as you untwist it, those fibers separate. See? See how they just separate like that? And you do tend to get, I found you tend to get 2 narrower ones, and well, actually this one's untwisted even more this time. So we've got a few. How many have we got this time? Oh no, it is mainly 3. So there's 2 narrower ones, or 2 sort of thinner ones, and a thicker one. But each one of those fibers can then be untwisted even further to make a really fine fiber. So yeah, so it's really fun to play with that. So anyway, so let's use this one here, and we're going to tie our bow. And we're going to get, because we've separated the fibers, we end up with a curly bow, which is really sweet. I love the look of the curl in the trim. Now you can straighten it out a little bit. So this one is quite tightly curly, but what we can do is we can take our bone folder. Now you will get a few fibers coming off as you do this, but you can gently straighten out some of those kinks if you don't want it quite as kinked as that. You will get a few little fibers on your desk though, so let's just get rid of those. Because it's a jute trim, it's made up of fine fibers. Then we just tie the bow. It's still a little bit curly. Oh. There we go. And because I've run it through the bone folder, it does make it a little bit more sort of fuzzy as well. It just depends on what you want your bow to look like. I'm trying to get my bow to sit nicely now. There we go. Good. Yeah, it is a little bit fuzzy. You can trim off those fuzzies if you want to as well. If it's too fuzzy, just trim them off. And just trim off some of those fuzzies. Oops, careful not to actually cut your twine like I just nearly did. Just cut off some of those little fuzzies. Oops. Don't go too crazy like I'm trying to just now. And so you get all those little fibers, so you just have to, yeah, just be mindful of those. All right, and then we'll add our little bow down here. So I'm going to use a mini glue dot. Oh, you've been here for a while, Glenda. Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't see you jump on. Did you say hello and I didn't see you? I apologize if you did. Sometimes when I get into my crafting and I get my head down, I forget to look up and check the comments. All right, so I think I'm just going to use some of this glue dot. So I'm going to break this up a little bit. I'll just use like half a glue dot. There we go. All right, I'll pop that on the back of my bow there. Whoop. Hang on a minute. There we go. And I'm going to pop that just at the base of our sentiment there. There we go. And then you can trim the ends of those that twine. I'm just going to have it hanging just a little bit lower than the card, so when it sits up, that bow will rest down on the surface that it's sitting on. There we go. So there we go. Rose says, your card is much nicer than the samples in the catalogue. Oh, thank you so much, Rose. That's a lovely compliment. Thank you. Oh, Glenda says, yes, that's okay. You did say hello. I'm sorry I missed you, Glenda. There you go. So using those beautiful in colours, the 2023 to 2025 in colours, well, we've used 3 of them. We've got the Wild Wheat, Pebbled Path and Copper Clay. Don't they go beautifully together? And they just look, I'm just going to separate the ends of this one if I can, just to give a bit more texture. They really do give that beautiful autumn colour. So I'm going to be using this stamp set and die bundle on Thursday as well to create a winter card. So be sure to come along on Thursday to my YouTube live at 11 a.m. to see a very different looking card to these ones using the same stamp and die set. Yeah, so there you go. All right, well, I will tip the camera up. Oh, thank you so much, Dimity. You love it as well. Oh, great. That's good. I'm so glad that you all like that one. Yeah, so just the most fiddly part was really just that vellum. But as I said, so long as you roll it through your die cutting machine a couple of times, it does depend on the tension of your, well, actually, let me finish telling you. I'll tip the camera up and I'll finish telling you when I tip the camera up. Hang on 2 secs. Here we go. And that way I can talk to you about it face to face. Oh, that way. I've got to remember this clamp No, which way does it undo? This way? That way? Oh, it's stuck again. It's all right. I'll get it. There we go. Got it. Oh, that one is stubborn. Okay, bear with me. I'm coming back. I really am. I'm here. I haven't gone far. Alrighty. Sorry, everyone. Hang on. Here we go. Flip, flip. There we go. Oh, I'm having a terrible time with this stand today. There we go. Is that going to stay put now? Okay. It's, yeah, I'm going to have to do something with that. It's just not adjusting easily today. There we go. Okay. So, as I was saying, sorry about that, everybody. As I was saying, just with the detailed die, this one here, just if you're running that through your machine, especially with vellum, run it through a couple of times just to make sure that all the little pieces die cut, because it does depend on your particular machine. All the different machines, even going from the large to the small one, every different machine has a different tension in the rollers. And it depends on how much you've used it and, you know, what you've been putting through your machine, etc., etc. So sometimes it can be, if the tension's a little bit looser in the rollers, it can take a few more goes backwards and forwards with those detailed dies, as you saw with mine today. Now, my mini, I have been using that a lot. I use it on most of my lives now. And so you've probably seen me use it lots and lots of times. So my rollers perhaps are starting to get a little bit looser in there. So yeah, doing detail dies. Doing the outline dies, when I did these ones, it was fine. They cut, no worries at all. It was just this one with the vellum. So yeah, any of those really fussy detailed ones, yeah, just roll them through an extra time or two and you'll be all good. So there you go. Well, let me hold my little card up again. And I hope that you really enjoyed that. And I hope that you got a few more ideas as well with that, with using those colours, making some seasonal type cards. We did a little bit of masking off with our sentiment as well, if you hadn't seen that masking technique before with your sentiments, and just using some of those beautiful in colours. So be sure to grab some of those beautiful in colours and use those. And Rose, I know that you have some of those in colours because you took part in my in colour share. So I know that you have some of those beautiful colours. So I hope that you feel inspired to use those and make some beautiful cards. All right, well, if you have any questions, if there's anything I can help you with, then please feel free to let me know. Get in contact with me. I'll put all of my links in the description of this video, so that you can get in contact with me. You can navigate through to my blog if you would like to subscribe to my newsletter. Also too, if you would like information about joining my beautiful crafting community, we would love to have you join with us. So there's a link for that too. If you'd like more information, feel free to ask me. Oh, you will? Fantastic. Oh, that's good. Oh, thank you, Rose. I'm glad you like my card today. So yeah, so if there's anything I can do to help you, please feel free to get in contact with me and let me know. And I will be back again on Thursday. I just have to think what day. Thursday morning at 11 a.m. over on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm really close to 1,000 subscribers, and once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I will have many more functions available to me on YouTube, which will make things so much easier. So that would be awesome. And also too, if you're not yet following me on my Facebook page, please feel free to follow me there as well, so that I can keep you up to date with everything that's going on. I post every day in my Facebook page. I do miss the odd day here or there, which I did miss a day or two last week, so I apologize for that. but generally I am in there every day, posting fun things, fun crafty things. And so even some things that are non-crafty, like yesterday I was posting about my poached eggs. So thank you to everybody who gave me suggestions on poaching eggs and how to get a good poached egg. So many great suggestions. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, I like to put a few fun things on there on the weekends too. All right, well, I hope you all have a great week this week. I hope you get some crafting in there too. Stay warm if you're in the cold climates like me. And for those of you further south, it's more cold down there. So try and stay nice and warm and have a great week. And I look forward to seeing you all again really soon. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye.